Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Heroes Lounge Mega Monday matchup. We had a week off because uh, there were no, there were no matches on last week because it was sadly the first day of playoffs, or excitingly the first day of playoffs, I should say. Um, but now it's a fresh new Monday, and joining me for this one is Yosh.
Putting funeral in funeral. That was the incorrect way of doing that joke. But anyways, hello,
Exactly, putting the urinal in funeral.
Earl. Well,
I have no idea what that means, but welcome to Heroes Lounge Mega Monday matchup. I believe it's your first time here. How are you feeling?
uh, alive? Am I supposed to feel anything different?
Um, I mean, maybe. Tell us how you're
I
feeling
mean,
about the upcoming match.
considering the fact that you have ran out of additional casters and stuck with me, that's gonna be pretty sad. Anyways, yeah, this upcoming match should be pretty interesting because we've got 500. Let me open up the sheet. 500 major socks versus Moustaches, and one of those teams is on the verge of dropping out because with one win, if 500 Mopey Sloth will manage to lose this one, you only got some tiebreak results to help you. Ooh, switching with portraits in JB, going with Pachmaris instead of emblems. That's interesting.
So, both these teams come from Division 5. It's, I mean, what do you make about the kind of the relative strength of these teams? Have they played against each other before?
I believe that they have played against each other before, but I honestly do not remember how that one went. I do imagine that 500, once again, spreadsheet, Majestic Sea Turtles have lost that one, but let me find it out.
Yeah,
In terms
so.
of Division
Carry on.
5 versus Division 4, I'm still going for the approach of simple math, where 5 is better than 4, and therefore the lower division is a better one. So yeah, let's see. Moustaches versus 500 MS. They have played in what I believe to be round 9, and Moustaches have won in 2 games. Yes.
Hmm. So you think Moustaches are going to be the favourite here in this match?
I mean, I've got some issues on the emotional level, considering the fact that I have played for 500 menacing stands last season. So I'm gonna root for them, but
Is that
I
why
do
they
not
lost?
expect anything in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think anything could happen here. 500 MS were voted in the viewer poll in the draw show. By the way, for those of you who didn't see the draw show, go to the YouTube Heroes Lounge channel and find the draw show there. Um, just search on YouTube Heroes Lounge Draw Show, and you can watch the whole thing, which is how the groups for the Epic Cup were drawn, as well as for the other cups. But yeah, so in that viewer poll on the day, 500 MS got the second highest number of votes for who viewers thought would win the Epic Cup, after Johnny Sin's Butt Buddies.
Rare
So
camp champions, they have some legacy to uphold, and the lower divisions are certainly representing an amount of demographic.
yeah, that's true. Um, by the way, the first map we're going to be going to is Battlefield of Eternity. So take a look at these map bans here. I mean, so we had Dragonshire banned by 500 ms, Towers of Doom banned by 500 ms, and Tomb of the Spider Queen and Volskaya banned by Moustaches. Now, those are quite different bans from the two different teams. Like Dragonshire and Towers, a little bit larger maps and focus quite differently from Tomb and Volskaya. So, what does that tell us about these two teams' approaches coming into this Epic Cup match?
I'm actually interested to see that Sky Temple is the maps that escaped the bans, and yeah, the maps that are left in the rotation are on the bigger side, which does mean that both teams are gonna try for more macro approach in their strategy. Maybe even slightly going for the later game side of things, because it's easier to not force fights on a small map.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, yeah, I think given these maps going onto Battlefield, like it's, I mean, so Battlefield, by the way, we've learned in the draw show as well, is kind of the third most played map in Heroes Lounge. It's looking like the the team who chose it, which is 500 MS, looking to try and play a bit tighter, but of course it has to be a bit more. It has to be a bit more race focused in terms of draft.
Yeah, maybe. So let's see what is happening. Teams are spawning when spamming when ready. So unfortunately, it's only one of the teams that's spamming it.
Okay, I think we are actually ready to go into the draft here in game number 1 in this best of 3 series. So in we go. Battlefield of Eternity. So, what are we expecting here on the draft between these two teams? Is it going to be kind of focused on the race for the Immortals, or is it going to be more
I would
both
imagine
focused on
some
teamfight?
of the more general picks getting banned out on the first rotation. I will admit that I did not do any preparation for that game, so I'm gonna be a bit weak on the stats, but I would imagine that some general picks like Vala, maybe some kind of mean to be banned in the first rotational bans. And the other thing that I know is that 500 MS have attempted to go for a bit more laid back approach in their drafts in preparation for this series, so that is gonna be interesting to see as well.
Yeah, I think so. There's the Valaban you were talking about, by the way. Um,
A pretty strong ADC has a lot of race and is a combo with Oriel, which 500 Mexican salsas are known to run.
500 Mexican salsas are indeed known to run that Oriole, so banning away the Oriole battery there, perhaps leaving the Oriole in the mix, and then maybe they'll have a response to that with maybe a Li Ming pick early. So, or we could see a Li Ming ban now from one of these two teams because she's highly prioritized. Now, Blaze, is that very much a focused target ban there by Moustaches against 500 MS?
I mean, Blaze could be a focused ban versus the One Knight, but I'm more interested to see that Malthael ban out because Malthael is not a hero that is very prominent in the meta, but he has a very specific um, approach to what heroes do you pick Malthael against, notably high HP heroes.
Um, yes, so that's there's the Li Ming pickup that we were expecting. What comes next? Is it the Joanna? No, they're going for the Garrosh. Garrosh for the tank. I mean, that's fairly standard, and the Greymane great for the race as well. So, by the way, Greymane really popular hero throughout Heroes Lounge, as we've seen from the stats. So, yeah, but the Garrosh in particular I like because you can throw people into the stun from the Immortals, so it's great for those defensive fights around Immortals. So it might be the kind of style that we see coming out from 500 MS as Anna gets picked up to complement that Li Ming on the side of Moustaches, and they augment their race with Reyna, who we know is one of the strongest race heroes in the game at the moment, with that level 1 talent that does bonus damage to monsters.
Yeah, Reiner actually surged up in popularity quite a lot after the last patch buffed him. I wouldn't say it was a major buff, but I wouldn't say it was like a minor one either. Liming is a first pick that is funny for me because Ernie Mist is a notable Liming one-trick pony, so that shows a bit of preparation that went into those drafts from the left side. Greymane is a nice substitute though, a lot of race, a lot of burst on some of the more tanky characters, and once again, picking out the champion that is good versus high HP targets, getting him away from the hands of Moustaches.
Yeah, good point. And I think let's see how 500ms follow up with their own picks. Like, my gut feeling is they'll want another ranged race or mage. Possibly we can see Kael'thas, but I think it might be more Jaina. Instead going for the Zarya. Now Zarya is really nice with Garrosh because you get that movement speed buff to allow Garrosh to run in. And of course Stukov Silence synergizes nicely with that Graviton Surge from Zarya. But it is slightly surprising in it. Sometimes she struggles for race because Zarya needs the energy from getting involved with the enemy team. Of course, she can get some energy off the Immortals, though.
I am. Is it wrong that I'm actually expecting Deathwing here as a last pick?
From 500 milliseconds.
Yes.
That would
Indeed.
be very spicy indeed. I think they would. I mean, that's okay, but it would struggle a bit for race on a map that where race we were talking about just how important race is, how great Li Ming and Arena are for race on the other side, and of course, it would be. I think. Oh, okay. So they've gone for the Thrall, a bit more steady than a Deathwing. I think the Deathwing would have been nice, kind of synergy with the Zarya maybe and stuff like that, but this is a bit more ordinary draft, let's say.
Can you even shield the Squishy Lizard?
He cannot shield the Squishy Lizard. You are correct.
Oh well. So yeah, those are the drafts. Pretty interesting so far. I would say that Moustaches have got a draft that is a bit more standard, is a bit easier to pull off, and I'm gonna say that based purely on the draft, I believe that they will be the one winning this game.
Yeah, it's hard to call though. It is hard to call because both like I think 500ms have got an idea and they've got a very aggressive idea, we'd have to say, and their plan is to go all in by the looks of things. Zarya, Greymane, Thrall. That's just going to run at the enemy team. Maybe they can catch Anna, maybe they can catch Reyna and really punish them, particularly if they get something like a black hole from Zarya into a taunt. But it's kind of all their eggs in one basket, and I think they could struggle on race. They could struggle for like deep push and stuff like that. So it might be a tough situation for them if they don't get to play their style, and that will all be up to the tanking play of Blauermink.
I might be severely incorrect, but I think that 500 Microsoft are already preparing to draft on Lost Cavern because this is most certainly a good draft on this map. Speaking of, we do have 500 marketing strategies on the right with Cloud playing Zarya Draco on Stukov Snazy Penguin playing Garrosh Ernie Mist on Greymane and the One Knight running Thrall in the offlane.
And in the blue corner we have Blauermink on Joanna, we have Search on Reyna, Pogo Okapi on Li Ming, Faldas on the Anna, and Maku on the Leoric. Level 1 talents in straight away. Li Ming going for that Ether Walker. That's a bit more popular on this map than on other maps because, of course, it allows more magic missile damage onto that Immortal. And, of course, you don't get globes typically in the Immortal area. Anna going for the Slumber Shells to get more of those sleeping darts going on.
Zarya going with a melee auto attack talent, which is really interesting to me.
I think her idea, if I can interpret it, is that that's better Immortal damage. Like, you just stand next to the Immortal and you hold it down, and it will definitely be more Immortal damage than any of the other kind of energy-focused talents. But it means that Zarya hasn't got anything to give her energy, So that might be the way that they can play this on the side of Moustaches, is stop kind of trying and energy starve Zarya. However, Cloud doing a decent job on the energy so far, and of course able to clear this wave pretty safely if needed.
Speaking of ways to play, we see an early rotation from Ernie Mist starting to get some value out of it by taking a really quick siege camp, not answered by the side of Moustaches on the bot lane.
Yeah, so great map control, map awareness there from 500ms, and of course Ernie Mist rotating back down in plenty of time to contest this block camp. Garrosh gets towards the point.
Fight.
Yeah, there's a sleep onto Drakva, but I think that's a bit early. And now Drakva's ready to put the silence on there, but standing in, trying to melee down the Reyna. Aggressive plays here from the support. Blauermik got to be careful, falling pretty low. The feel the heat from Zarya doing so much damage. Blauermik's the first to fall in this game, and Search is the second.
Well done by 500. 500 mysterious societies, I guess. Figuring out that their opponents are gonna take this siege camp now and punishing them for doing exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, just great calls there from 500ms, and now with that, they're going towards their own bruiser camp. Yes, of course, Moustaches are doing the same. So far, it's only Anna on the bruiser camp, which might not be the most efficient, and so Pogo, Kapi, and Search going over to help. Level 4 talents are in.
Doubt the Anna clear. With the passive ticking in and given her HP back, she is in a good position to clear. But sometimes people are there to steal the solo lane, solo jungle Anna's claim to fame, such as the Gleaming and the Trainer. Oh well. The Immortal spawn and the race is suddenly starting to heat up really quickly right out of the gate. The blue side seems to win in that one, but it's actually quite close.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and that's partly because Zarya did a good job of getting energy before that, and then just goes in with that feel the heat damage. But now here's the question: will they be able to race here? Nice positioning from the red team, straight away on that Immortal, where there's a bit of hesitation, and with Lyric soaking that top lane, this might be an early win for the red team. Oh no, it's not. It seems like
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay. For a second, I thought it was...
Red team has HP, which does mean that the red team won.
Yes. Just though, it was very close. 700 HP
As
in
a
it.
thrown blow milk, the trait is used to save the Johanna, but it was a bit close. Sorry for interrupting there.
No. I mean, I absolutely agree. Great attempt there to catch onto Blaumink, but yeah, Johanna steps back safely for now. Garrosh stacks his level 1 stun talent. That'll give him even more of those going in. And remember that Zarya has the speed to allow Garrosh to run in very aggressively when needed. That nice sleep from Anna into the Li Ming damage. And with that, the Immortals cleared pretty easily.
But the wall is taken and the damage is done. Even if they did not get anything, they still get the denial value from taking this one. So, well done by the red team. Let's see where the action will strike. Top lane apparently, as Ernie Mist is already looking for that rotation. Maybe trying to get the siege camp for itself, which is scouted out by Mako, and Li Ming is also there, so it is gonna be a 2v2. Let's see how that will go.
Maku has been torn to pieces by Thrall and Greymane. I mean, we know how aggressive those melee heroes can be, and they Ernie Mist and the One Knight just tearing the Yorick up. But
I'll be honest, that wasn't the 2v2 that I was waiting for.
Yeah, I gave a little bit of space. Oh, look at his speed! Oh, but the sleep from Faldas perfectly timed there to deny that Garrosh Zarya engage combo. Cloud using her shield there to get a good chunk of energy, but paid a pretty heavy price in terms of HP. Might actually fall down here. Survives for now.
At what level do you get the unstoppable on shielding?
On Zarya, level 13.
Okay, so that's definitely a power spike that I'll be looking for.
Yeah, that will allow Cloud to be very aggressive.
Even more aggressive than right now. Blauermik is trying to anchor this siege camp take, but is quickly scouted out by 500 Mississippi as they are going to take the camp for themselves.
And they secure that fairly comfortably. Now Rainer gets in some early race. Solid play there from Search, using that level 1 talent value to get that bonus damage onto that Immortal. But now with the invasion, look at that route into the Stukov Silence. Brutal stuff here. Now the One Knight can try and catch onto Li Ming as well. 224 HP. Probably will be able to teleport away with the help of that Ether Walk level 1. Sensibly gets out of there, Pogo Carpi.
I mean,
But
seeing Raynor die to that was impressive, but even more impressive is seeing Li Ming survive as Ana dies in the distance and getting caught out by Garish and Zarya.
so a lovely little engage there from 500ms, who, like we said, not necessarily the favourites on paper, but certainly coming out stronger into this game number 1. Now here's something I'm slightly surprised by. Zarya took Expulsion Zone. Now remember I was talking about how the Graviton could combo nicely with the Stukov Silence, with the Warlord's Challenge from Garrosh. Instead they've gone for that Expulsion Zone, and we've got a little bit of lag. I don't know
I think it's because the map that we're playing on, Battlefield of Eternity, features a lot of small corners which are perfectly ultable off. And with Massive Shaft, I think that is gonna be a pretty interesting combo to see at.
Yeah, how do they interact, those two? Oh, there's the door being shut on Blauermink. Now, if they can stop... No, they didn't secure the kill. But
yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. You block off a small passage and then kill anyone blocked off.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And that is the idea here from Cloud. And you can shut the door in your enemy's face. Oh, can they catch... Again, the sleeps! Perfectly timed here from Faldas, denying so much of Snazzy Penguin's attempted engages. As now...
Yes, damage control from Zana has been pretty significantly strained.
Yeah.
Rakwa stepping a bit too close and losing half of HP for the trouble. The fort is taken, and I think this will be the end of this push.
But Expulsion Zone is back up, by the way. That's the other advantage of taking Expulsion Zone, is it's only got a 45-second cooldown. So there could be another door shutting play on Blauermink, particularly if that Iron Skin is used preemptively.
Exactly. Now, to the winner goes the spoils, and 500 mining salt will go for that pretty easy low-hanging fruit of a siege camp in the top lane. Putting up a bit more pressure on already disturbed lane.
Snazzy Penguin thinking of running in. The Zarya shield is available to give to Garrosh if needed. There's the Unstoppable, but there's not quite the synergy they were looking for. The shield's a little bit too late, but Garrosh can still reach because of the massive speed.
Bananas, that's important.
Yeah, but here's the wave of force tearing Stukov apart. Drakford's the first to go down.
And the reasons come in.
That's 2. Is 3. Is it going to be any more? Snazzy Penguin got to start getting out there. Oh, is it though? Is it though? Snazzy Penguin's still alive, but for how long? It's 4.
Yeah.
So a great turnaround there from Moustaches, finding out the weaknesses in that aggression from 500ms, and just saying, look, yes, you've engaged hard on us, but that's left your backline exposed. Drakfor on Stukov got engaged on hard and torn down by Li Ming.
Yeah, the Stukov is playing a bit too aggressive in this fight. I'd say the MVP for me, this one is still Faldas, who despite letting himself be thrown in, still managed to hit a sleep on Garrosh, denying any potential value that he could get with that 3-man Warlord's challenge.
Yeah, that's true. Credit to Faldas here. And now they want to go in again. Great silence from Stukov. Garrosh running in, throws the Ana, tries to put the pressure there. The stun doesn't quite connect. Greymane is all over Faldas now. The door's been shut. That's why you go Expulsion Zone.
Expulsion Zone is here to secure the support.
The shield as well, saving Garrosh's life. Manages to get his W off, sits back for now. There's the stun onto Surge. Can they catch him again? The shield from Zarya isn't up for another few seconds. Snazzy Penguin wants to catch.
Greymane almost manages to catch out Leoric, but dies for it. That's a trade. I guess they'll take it because right now they are 4v2 and they can definitely force that Immortal down.
So now this is 500ms back on form, showing a beautiful engage there. And it's just raw aggression. They just run at the enemy team. And Moustaches know it's coming, but they can't really do anything about it, particularly not when the door is shut. by the expulsion zone. Because one of the things that people neglect maybe with expulsion zone is not just that it stops you getting out, it stops your teammates coming in to help you.
No big cavalry moments from the teammates. Although, if they are lemming, this is somewhat incorrect, because you can just in, get some kills, and get resets to save yourself.
That's
But
easier
here's
said
the
than
Entomb
done.
on 3 people, and that's pretty important in terms of engage. Garrosh falls pretty low, expulsion zone is gonna save the bulk of 500 milliseconds there, as Snazy Penguin getting shielded, getting low. Everyone is quite low on the red side, but the ones dying are from the blue team, as Johanna is the first casualty here. Artemis tries to get a kill, but is dying in the last leap of the Worgen.
Yeah,
Zarya is gonna die as well, and Garrosh will finish out the trifecta. They still get the Immortal, but they pay for it.
yeah, and with 3 of them dead, I think this Immortal will be cleaned up pretty safely. I'm not sure Drakthar on Stukov is going to want to show his face there near the enemy territory, and I think probably the better play is just to go and soak and hope for the Immortal to create a bit of space. I mean, credit to Moustaches for a great fight there. What they did is know when to pull back out and just wait for the resets. So initially the engage looked nice with that big entomb, but actually Zarya, played by Cloud there, got huge value and made it look like Moustaches were on the back foot, but then they just sat back, reset, and then Li Ming went boom, and then you get the dominance value. Level
And when
16's...
the bodies hit the floor, it might be a bit too late for the red team to win a fight, because Li Ming is already getting value, already getting a lot of HP, and the damage is killing you one by one.
Absolutely. Full E-build here from Li Ming, going for the diamond skin as well at 16. That will allow Pogo Okapi to play a bit more aggressively, getting that shield, and with a lot of ease on the cards. Hang on, sorry to interrupt myself. There's an attempted chase into Vlaming here. The Blessed Shield was used to force that. And I mean, you've got to credit the aggression of 500 MS, who, by the way, did not have 16 at the time they were trying to force that fight.
Look, when you force a fight, you force a fight, and if you get your enemies, it doesn't matter if you have a talent down, because at this point I think their comp is more on the blow up side of things, because the long fights, as we have already talked about, Li Ming should win.
Yeah, possibly. I think that might be the approach they're taking. So they're just going to go for that hard aggression, and maybe Cloud gets full energy and tries to tear somebody down. If you take a look at the hero damage numbers so far, you'll see that Li Ming on 33k, and Thrall on 32k, so fairly neck and neck between the top hero damage dealers. But of course, the second places, Rain is a bit ahead there, so it feels like more damage is coming out.
Zarya is a bit lower than I believed the character would be, but let's see how the teams will fare on this Immortal. And now we can see how much faster Moustaches are able to clear compared to the level 4 Immortal, which 500 missile systems were able to win just on pure race value. The Immortals now are in the home position, which does mean that there's gonna be a fight for them.
Yes, it's got to be some aggression here from the red team. They step up here. Cloud charging up their energy, but Stukov's been destroyed again! And immediately Thrall's the second to fall. I think Zarya's going to be third. Maybe she can hide behind the Immortal. Decides instead to run in a straight line and gets punished for it. But this is 4-0 so far. It might even be 5. The Wave of Force not quite bringing Snazzy Penguin back in. So just going to be 4. But 4's all you need to take another Immortal. And that's a very uncomfortable situation now for 500 MS.
So that was a pretty poor fight from the red team. Allowing your Garrosh to get slapped does mean that you're not getting any engage on your opponent. Allowing your Garrosh to get slapped in the flank means that the enemy team has a free reign in your backline, which Li Ming took full advantage of blowing up Stukov and Zarya in a matter of seconds.
The Immortal marches. It's going to take these 2 towers pretty easily. It will take the fort. The question is, what more can they get with it? I think they're not going to go for... I don't think they'll be able to get the keep unless a big mistake is made here by 500 MS. And already I'm a bit nervous about how far forward 500 MS are standing up without Thor being there, because of course they are 4v5. Lovely pushback from Drak for the massive shove getting value, and the Entomb denied effectively.
A pretty interesting question, how much will Moustaches exactly gain here, because if 500 mini sausages are able to get cut out, it does mean that Moustaches get level 20, and with level 20 you can pretty much force the keep or maybe even the core, but the Immortal dies without the right team making any significant mistakes, and
yeah, nicely balanced here by 500 Mellow Salamanders as they go towards the bot camp, and they defended it safely. The massive shove was crucial from Drakfor to deny that Entomb idea. I can't help but think maybe Moustaches could have committed more on that Entomb and tried to punish Stukov, but Garrosh was ready with the throw if there was any trouble, and a sensible retreat here from 500 MS. They know what they need to do right now, and that's to play safe until 20 and just try to avoid those fights which could be the death of them.
yeah. Now with the top lane gone, we do see Moustaches with their level 20 try to get some more value in the bot lane. The fort will be taken without any resistance, as the red team needs some time to move to the actual bot lane.
Yeah, a good call to go for that fort. The idea there, if I can guess it, is that the next Immortal would have gone for that fort if it had still been up. Now, with it being down, it guarantees that the Immortal will go on a keep. So, if Moustaches can win, although what's going on here? Snazzy Penguin just about dodges that Entomb, absolutely crucial. Otherwise, that could have been the game over if he'd been caught there. But he manages to get out, and that's given space to Thrall to soak.
Enemies with that into the fray. Let's not forget about that. Level 7 getting a lot of value in this engage. Thrall might have went a bit too far, as now he faces a 4-man gank. The the Earthquake is here to heal the Thrall, and now we see a fight.
Yeah, but this is a tough situation. Zarya starts trying to provide a bit of protection. This is 19v20. 500 MS don't want this fight, and yet they seem to be stepping up, threatening the enemy team, and that's all so that they don't get engaged on too hard.
Unfortunately for the right side of that game, we see that the Immortals are spawning, and that does mean that they either lose it or force a fight.
But look at the aggression position of 500 MS here. Oh, a lovely throw from Garrosh. Snazzy Penguin again with the saves, but there's nothing left. The expulsion zone, huge. Can it save Snazzy Penguin in response? 20 HP. No. Falls to the damage from Leoric. And now Leoric's chasing onto Greymane. Wants to catch onto more. Greymane starts running away. There's the combo from Li Ming. Huge.
Fortunately for the red teams, they are able to get behind the wall. And now, thanks to the Soak of Thralls, they have level 20, but it might already be too late.
I just can't help but think there was a misplay from 500 MS, because they were aggressively positioned on the enemy Immortal. Instead of just saying, look, why don't we just go either play super defensive at the Immortal, where we've got an Immortal cover, or go and soak 20 and ignore the first half of the Immortal phase. They said, let's take the fight to the enemy 19v20. It didn't. That was always going to be a risky move with that level 20, particularly from Leoric available, and Zarya paid the price, and that allowed 2 deaths and a whole Immortal here.
That's a 28k worth of shielding alone, and that will definitely take the keep down of the red team.
Yeah. And this Immortal is charging up, and he's ready to go to this bot lane and start walking along. The red team has got a really tall order here trying to defend this. In comes the Li Ming combo. Zarya uses it to get a bit of energy. Every shred of energy that Zarya can get will be needed to defend this. It's a very sizable shield, as you just pointed out, 28k. But they're using the Earthquake here. They're thinking of engaging, but they're silencing Entomb onto Garrosh. But it might be the end of him. They're the Expulsion Zone, though, providing some cover for Snazzy Penguin, allowing him out. Leoric chases in, but he can't finish the kill on his own. And there's Li Ming diving hard for this. There's the taunt. Can they punish Li Ming for the audacity? Thrown into the core, and Li Ming goes down.
The Leoric is the next on the engage as 500 minus setbacks are trying to take this opportunity to fight and go into something bigger. But unfortunately the keep is dead, and now they have to give some attention to the Immortals that's going straight into the core. Right now it sits on 87%.
Brilliant defense there from 500 MS. As you say, 500 minor setbacks are not enough to get them out of this game just yet. And that means they can go to that bot camp, they can take the camp to take the pressure off that bot lane. And with Li Ming dead, maybe they can find something. They've still got 20 seconds of window. I would like to see them invade this Bruiser camp here. I don't think they will, because it'll take them 15 seconds to get there, and they're going to be thinking, you know, that gives us a 5-second window to secure the camp. Honestly, I think 5 seconds is enough, but, you know, they've got to be cautious. And they've decided to play a little bit more safely for now. Just consolidate, de-push the bot lane, make sure there's no more pressure on their core for the foreseeable future.
I think that was more of a mistake on the side of Moustaches, with Li Ming diving a bit too deep and getting burned for that. Fortunately, so far without Li Ming, the fights have been pretty sad for the left side.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing is the level in terms of level 20 talents. I think the most impactful here is going to be either the Leoric Tomb or the Earth and Shields from Thrall. If Thrall gets a good Earthquake off with the Earth and Shields, as he may well be thinking about doing now, because that's a huge Entomb, with the silence to follow, the Taunt's there to stop too much damage coming out. Pogo Carpy's gone in,
but is not able to get any kills, and the fight transitions in the backline of the blue team. Surge is losing HP rapidly, and the Thrall's death will not stop the Raynor from falling down as well. As the bodies hit the floor, we hear the sound of resets from the Ming, but no value will be gotten from that. The trait is used on Johanna as Erniemis jumps on top of it. Li Ming jumps in, trying to get the Worgen.
How is Erniemis still alive? Leoric's chasing here. If he gets the suck off, then Erniemis will die. He has gone down. So, it's 2 for 1 so far. Will there be any counter kills? Joanna's fallen low. She doesn't have the Indestructible available. Garrosh starts to run away, but this fight is so split here for 500 MS. Cloud could just turn and kill this Joanna. I don't think he knows he has the power to just one-shot her with that Feel the Heat. Instead, trying to get a bit of space, but Stukov's run slightly the wrong way, in the wrong side of town. There's the silence, nothing left. There's the Expulsion Zone though, it might save Drakthor. Will it be enough time? Can they kill Blauming? Zarya's not putting the damage onto Blauming. It might be a tough situation. Garrosh starts to run away. But now, I think it's really going to be the end for 500 MS, unless they can do a massive play here.
I think it does show that 500 major setbacks this time are not exactly able to play with Zarya. They kinda lack a bit of practice, because when you see that Zarya with full energy just stay back and not attack anyone, that's gonna hurt.
Well, I think it was a tough situation for them because, of course, the Leoric has been doing incredible work with these Entombs to set things up, and there's always the threat that Pogo Carpi on the Li Ming will just pick somebody off, find the kill, and that turns into more kills. There's the Earthquake. They have to make something happen now. Yes, they're 4v5, but they have to do something. The Earthquake used slightly prematurely though.
The enemy Immortals, that could have been an opportunity, but Moustaches noticed this and tried to cover it up. Right now, messing.
Stukov's on the way. This will be a fight, but there's the Entomb onto 2 members. Garrosh goes in. The huge taunt onto 3 members. Cloud tries to get some damage, but no, running away slightly. Surely they can kill the Li Ming, but she's nano boosted. Snazzy Penguin is the first to fall. There's the Expulsion Dome to try and create a bit of space, but it's too little, too late. Greyman's run a different way from Zarya. Lovely shove from Drakthor, keeps Li Ming away. And yes, it will just be Garrosh, but that's a full Shield Immortal. No, Greymane's dead as well. This is surely game. It's a full Shield Immortal going on to this keep.
That should be game. Let's see. I mean, let's be honest, the hidden passive of Garrosh reads, when you can't throw bodies, he throws a game. And fortunately for the right side, we see that.
I love that description. I've never heard that before. That's a lovely description. But yeah, I think it was a tough situation there for 500 MS. They knew they had to take some fight 4v5 before Stukov really arrived, and that's where they used a lot of resources. The One Knight might be able to get away here with the help of Zarya and Stukov. Oh, the silencing entomb! Is this a
In
punishment?
fact, he might be the only one able to get away, but I don't think so, as Limin is trying to find him. Actually, no.
It
Just
doesn't.
moves straight on top of the core, and
It doesn't
One
matter.
Knight
They could
will
wipe anyone
survive,
now, and it's GG.
but his core will fall. So yeah, here's game 1 for you folks.
And that was really back and forth. I mean, incredible performance by both of these teams.
I'll be honest, I don't think the red side could have even played the last fight much better, because they have managed to negate the entomb. No one died from it. They have managed to throw and get a pick on the Limin with a absolutely amazing taunt from Gersh. It's just that I think they were a bit too late into the game.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that last fight there wasn't much more they could have done given the situation. And at that point, they were already kind of out of the race. But still, they're not out of the match just yet. It is 1-0 up to Moustaches. You're watching Heroes Lounge Epic Cup Group D, Moustaches versus 500 MS. It's a best of 3 series, so Moustaches could win the match if they win the next game, or 500 MS could equalize and take us to a game number 3 here in Group D. So,
First pick will definitely try and help them, as Draqua thinks so, choosing first pick for map number 2, which will be Infernal Shrines. A bit of a launch classic. A lot of teams play on Shrines. I believe it's the most played map ever.
it is. And the thing is, the only division in which it's not the most played, I believe, is Division 1, where Volskaya Foundry is the most played. So Volskaya was banned in this series, so that's probably why we're seeing Infernal Shrines and Battlefield. By the way, for those of you who like maps that you don't see every day, things like Warhead Junction.
Things like Garden of Terror,
Warhead Junction, Garden of Terror. I was going to say maybe Haunted Mines, but I don't think that exists anymore. But those kind of maps.
Don't tell those things. We finished Shallow Screams was the game of Haunted Mines. Our Haunted Mines macro is the best Haunted Mines macro in launch.
Well,
at least until that tournament.
Then you should sign up for the upcoming EU off-meta maps tournament in Heroes Lounge, in which various maps that I can't remember all of them will be played as the map pool, and including what's the ARAM map called? Lost Cavern, but with draft. So Lost Cavern, but not ARAM. So just AM.
Lost Cavern, but without fun and with 100% more hammer.
Possibly, although people can ban.
Yeah, banning hammer is, I think, will happen. Does casters need any rights? Asks a person in match chat, and yes, come on.
I found out the map list, by the way. It's going to be Braxis Holdout, Blackheart's Bay, Garden of Terror, Hanamura, Haunted Mines, Lost Cavern, and Warhead Junction. It's all your favourites, ladies and gentlemen, and you can sign up for it now on heroeslounge.gg. It's under events, off meta maps. So, we are almost ready to go into the draft in game number 2, which will be on Infernal Shrines. Any thoughts about the last game before we do? I mean, what do you think about 500 MS's playstyle, and how should they adapt it for game number 2?
I mean, they have definitely drafted for Lost Cavern, but unfortunately that's not a map in the rotation, so Infernal Shrines is a map where you need wave clear, you need a lot of, and not just wave clear, that's the main reason, it's the shrine clear as well, and you need those punishers to get yourself value, so, or to at least deny the value of your opponents. So yeah, you need a bit more wave clears than the comps that they have drafted. Another Malthael first ban, I imagine that is a thing of Moustaches, seen it in two different drafts already.
And the Valaban again, except this time doesn't make as much sense as it made on Battlefield of Eternity. Um, again, as you were saying, could just be worried about that Oriole pick synergy. And then Anna ban, great call from Drak for there to ban that Anna, because Faldas's Anna was absolutely crucial to the victory for Moustaches in game number 1. So a great target ban
Some of
there.
those sleeps were really disgusting.
Absolutely.
The
And
team
there's the Blaze
had
ban again.
some absolute trigger discipline. Now, the one ban that was not made here is Kalthas, who is a pretty solid pick and has a lot of clear on the shrine. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw it on first pick, but considering the playstyle that the red team showed us this first game, he may as well sleep.
So I was about to say Joanna is also open, and don't forget the value of Joanna here on Infernal Shrines, as well as on every other map, but in particular here on the Shrines. That does leave the Kael'thas open, like you were talking about. But they appear to have gone for Lyrica Lunara. That leaves the Kael'thas bang open. I agree with you, and I know the lower divisions in particular regard it as higher priority. You know, yes, we're looking at Epic Cup, so it's kind of a bit higher than Rare Cup, but I think Kael'thas on Infernal Shrines is just always a good pick.
Yeah, that is a thing that I would definitely agree with. We see Anduin and a Raynor. Both of those picks were not featured in the previous game. Raynor, I think, was picked by Moustaches, and Anduin escaped the draft altogether. And I think both of them are pretty neat, pretty common those days.
Yeah,
and
that's true. Bans.
So far, the entire comp of Red Team is just looking very, very bland. Very, very common.
Yeah, I guess they tried Spice in game number 1. It didn't quite work out for them, so they're going to play a bit more cautious, a bit more solid here in game number 2. The ETC ban targeting, you know, one of the more popular tanks. I think that does leave the potential for a Diablo, or you might see a Mal'Ganis. I don't know if Moustaches play Mal'Ganis, but he could be very strong here.
Or a Garrosh from the other side, but yeah, let's be honest, Garrosh is probably not happening with an Anduin.
There's the Diablo, yeah. I think that makes sense here on Infernal Shrines, and Blaumink does play that Diablo. The danger for Diablo is maybe Raynor can kite him a bit, get a bit of damage. He has to, so it's very much about playing around those walls and finding those engages here. Dehaka, a great pickup here, providing both global pressure and clear for those shrines. So a great pickup from there from 500 MS. And Junkrat for a juicy bit of displacement. I'll tell you now, when I play Diablo, I hate playing against Junkrat, and there's the hammer to spice things up.
Yeah, the hammer is a pretty spicy pick and is a pretty disgusting pick, as we once again see the team's draft for Lost Cavern while they're playing on the Infernal Shrines. I do believe that with Junkrat having pressure on the hammer, it might not be all sunshine and rainbows. Plus that Dehaka coming in from a bush near you.
Yeah, I think
pretty savage as well.
It's a tough situation. Yeah, I mean, there's a tough thing to pick hammer into. So I'd have to say I'm not convinced by that, especially because now they've also gone double auto attackers into the Joanna. It might not quite work out for them. So this is, I think, in terms of draft, I'd have to say I favor 500 MS here, whereas in the previous game I definitely favored the draft of Moustaches. So we'll see how that bears out in the actual game, of course. Let's see how we do, though, as we go into game number 2 in this best of 3. You're watching Heroes Lounge Mega Monday matchup, and on the left in blue, with Search on Lunara, with Maku on Leoric, with Faldas on the Malfurion, with Pogo Okapi on the Hammer, and with Blarmink on Diablo. Make some noise in the chat for Moustaches.
And on the right side, trying to win a game number 2 to scratch our way to map number 3, we have 500 Michael Schumachers with the one knight on the Haka, Dracula on Anduin, Cloud on Junkrat, Snazy Penguin playing Johanna, and Ernie Mist playing Raynor. I always forget him for some reason, but that's okay. If I forget him, he's usually in someone's backline.
A fair point. Tissue regeneration from Dehaka going for the standard idea there. Hold your ground from Joanna.
Unfortunately, his offlane dreams have been ruined because sometimes an offlane is just not a solo lane, as this hammer seeks to prove.
Yeah. Now I'm not convinced by rotating 5 to respond to this 3 here, and they've changed their mind and they've sent Ernie Mist to soak bottom and Joanna and Anduin to soak mid on the side of 500 MS, and leaving Dehaka and Junkrat to threaten the Hammer.
So yeah, pretty standard opening from the red side, with a bit of change to try and get...
The tongue from the one knight, beautiful onto Lunara. He's licked her good, and I'm not sure she enjoyed it. And that's going to be the first kill going over to 500 MS.
Or you can say that she enjoyed it so much that she passed out and will be in the base in 1 second. So that's one way to counter Lunara, cause for all her benefits, she has one major setback, and that is her HP pool, which is not the highest.
It's not, but she does. The fact that she's so hippity hoppity does make it very hard for Dehaka to land those tongues. So credit to the one knight for that. And of course, later on, she will have leaping strike to jump out of any trouble.
The things will definitely get much worse for Dehaka past level 10. But right now we do have level 4 for 500 market surveys, and let's see those talents as Hammer is dying in mid lane, I imagine. Alt having find new solutions makes missing plays around the map a bit easier.
Level 4s, as you say, are in. Going for the broccoli stacks on Malfurion. The broccoli will get stronger and stronger as the game goes on. And that thing can stack until it's pretty beefy. But, of course...
The broccoli is the scariest infinite stack in this game, prove me wrong.
I think Zuljin would like a word. As Lunara clears the bot lane safely. But it's half a level lead for 500 MS, so looking juicy so far. Nice engage from Diablo onto Joanna, but she has the Iron Skin because of that reduced cooldown on Iron Skin at level 1. Snazzy Penguin's completely fine, and we'll have the Iron Skin back up for this shrine.
And that's a drag. Let's see what will happen out of it as Blower Milk hits half HP, hits a third. But unfortunately the red side lacked a bit more damage to finish the kill.
Watch the pre-tap from Blauwmink, has the Devil's Juice. The pre-tap is absolutely huge. That allows Blauwmink to go in hot here. Catches onto Reyna. Immediately in the wall. Immediately Reyna's dead. Beautiful engage from Blauwmink. Perfectly executed there. Leoric gets blown into the backline by the Junkrat, but I'm not sure that's what Junkrat wants, is to have Maku running in his face. And now Joanna's next to go into the war. Gets turned over by the Lord of Terror and gets body blocked by the rest of them. Lovely pull from Drakfor. Saves Snazzy Penguin.
And another drag on Lunara will ensure that the hippity hoppity will not continue for the next 15 seconds.
The hippity hoppity was forced to stippity stoppity, as now they can use that kill to engage with the level 7 advantage. Dehaka gets turned over, but the One Knight's a lot less worried about it than Reyna was. The damage coming out onto Hammer. Hammer has to retreat. That leaves Maku on his own there. Leoric's going to get chunked down by Ernie Mist, and he's the next to die.
Malfurion managed to hit some pretty amazing roots on 4 people. Unfortunately, all of them were on his side of the battlefield. Another engage on Draco will see the Anduin go really low. Unfortunately for the blue side, they lack that killer instinct to finish things off. Earnymist is getting caught out, although.
Yeah, I mean, slightly optimistic positioning there from Ernie Mist in the middle of the shrine with Diablo. Excuse me. Don't mind my coronavirus. With Diablo able to just walk up to Reyna and turn him over. That's a tough situation. As Anduin trying to save Joanna from the wrath of the Arcane Punisher.
Speaking of that Arcane Punisher, the wall will hold down while my main caster dies from that aforementioned virus. And the engage is on Johanna. Unfortunately, the Iron Skill will stop any further pressure as the Punisher falls down. The fort will be traded for it by Lunaris Poison, and the engages continue with the teams trying to find some beats to nib off of each other.
Yeah, I mean, a fort with a level 1 Arcane Punisher is quite big value. The Arcane Punisher is not so strong these days, and you don't expect to get a fort from the first objective. But the value of the hammer, of course, is it's really good for sieging. The Malfurion had great sustain there, and of course they got that kill on Reyna just before the Punisher was secured. That allowed them, the combination of those factors allowed them to push through that fort. Still though, a solid XP lead for 500 movement speed.
As they get the level 10, and this is a chance to get something done in a small amount of time that they're given before. Moustaches hit level 10 of their own. Those siege camps, for example, are gonna take themselves and move straight down the lanes.
I like the confidence, by the way, of Drakfor's Anduin here, just going up in front before the Joanna gets there. Really trying to tempt Diablo into being aggressive. Now though, here's the potential engage from Blaming. It's hotting up over this camp. The Apocalypse combo comes in, smashes onto Anduin. In comes the Protect just denied before the Riptide went off.
Oh, and the mine is going to set things. This is amazing.
Yeah, Joanna's still there. Blaumink will probably go down trying to contest this. No, he won't. And Snazzy Penguin goes down. It's a massacre in favor of Moustaches. And all because Hammer had a great position from the start and was able to just get free real estate. I'm slightly surprised the hacker didn't burrow in, though, to help out.
And like in map number 1, the things taking longer means that the things are not doing good for 500 Maple Story, as they will see a lot of casualties in that fight. You were talking about how taunty Anduin is with his positioning. I think he's even more taunty in his talent choice, speaking Word of Light Salvation versus a Diablo. This will surely not bite him back.
Yeah, I think that's it's sort of inviting an apocalypse. Now, in this case, in that last, hello, there's a big tongue onto Pogo Carpet with a blessed shield to follow. Lovely combination there from 500 MS. Now they're looking to chase into Blaming.
And now they can continue with engage going on top of the Diablo. Another drag, another kill. Mako seems to be the next on the engage, but the Oryx E is good enough to save him from that.
Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, lovely kills, and crucially, they got those Diablo souls just before the shrine. I mean, Diablo's coming into this shrine fight with 0 souls. He can't get the huge pre-tap value that he wanted. And that means he's not as able to defend his backliners. Now, a call is made by Moustaches. We can't contest this shrine now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and steal the enemy bruiser camp and pressure the top. Keep with it. Great call from Blauming's team there to threaten that top lane when this Punisher is only going to go on a fort.
It would have been just an average call that the enemy team can answer for, but the fact that they have drafted that hammer will go up there, set up shop, and do a lot more damage than they would have done without that pick. Let's see, 500 multicolored Sclarists are going to back to the base, and that's gonna be the end of this engage. The Rita will find
The aggression from Drakva finding these routes onto Blauermink, by the way. BFG comes in, only hits onto Junkrat and Dahaka, not too much damage on them for now. They really want to chase here, but it's 12v13. The reason they're chasing is to get value. Oh, denied! Denied the one night by the hammer knockback, and the tongue's been disrupted. That means Dahaka's a little bit exposed, uses his D. Lovely Holy Word of Salvation from Anduin, saves his teammates for now. Maku gets tongued, will get torn down by Reyna,
and will get dead by the rest of the team.
Yeah, and that crucially secures the level 13, making this now an advantage fight for 500 MS. Dahaka gets charged into the towers, gets pulled out to safety by Drakva. There goes the attempted heal from Drakva, maybe a route to potential. And of course, in the meantime, all the way over here, this Punisher is still going on. It won't get any more than these towers, but it got the fort for free. It'll get this tower as well. Juicy value from this Punisher.
Speaking of meme times, can you use Anduin straight on the Haka while he's pulling someone? And if so, will his target be pulled back as well?
That's a good question. I have a suspicion they would be pulled, because if you have a tongue on somebody on the Hacker and you get knocked back by an enemy ability, I think they get pulled with it.
Oh,
Tell us in the Twitch chat.
That should be a pretty disgusting combo if it does work like I want it to. Unfortunately for me, the red side is not aware of this, or is aware that it does not work like I want it to.
Junkrat, gotta be careful. Anduin doesn't have the heal to keep you alive through it, but the protection's there, and the Entomb was on a protected target. Beautiful play from Anduin again, and it gets another kill on Leoric.
Getting caught in the backline will surely do that to you. Ooh, that's a nice BFG, chunking the entirety of the backline, and now the one knight gets a bit stuck, saved of course by the drag from an Anduin.
I have to say, credit to Drakva here, who on the Anduin is saving people time and time again in a difficult setup. Like we were talking about how difficult it is to get that value on against the Diablo. Lovely tongue again from the one knight onto Surge. Surely the Lunara is dead here. The Tranquility, too little, too late. Can't save the Lunara, who is a long way from Tipperary. Now Faldas might be in trouble of his own. Throws the roots to zone. The tongue doesn't quite connect onto Leoric, but the saves from Anduin, the tongues from the one knight, really creating MVP potential here for both Dahaka and Anduin in this game for 500 MS, and keeping them slightly ahead, although slightly behind on XP.
That's the teams that I used to know and love, being bold and aggressive, and getting those kills. Now, to the Victor goes as well, they will be able to clear up the rest of the siege camps on the map, and will just go and get their level 16 before their opponent can do something with their advantage. The XP lead is closing up pretty fast, so...
Diablo wants to try and think about an engage here to protect his fort. Apocalypse of in 4 seconds, that's when you were going to see an attempted play from Blauming. And that's exactly why the retreat has been called here by 500 MS.
With the Haka joining up on the flank, it leaves me wondering if they are looking for a re-engage, but the fact that they are all moving to take their burst camp before an objective does disprove this theory a lot.
So Leoric thinking about coming in here, but no, Joanna sensibly zoning there, and the camp picked up safely.
Moustaches meanwhile getting a cheeky well, denying all of the regroup values that they could have gotten. The blast shield hits the hammer, and the wall of light is stopped by Diablo. Zarita comes out, will not see anything besides the Leoric, who will happily die afterwards.
Yeah, but that's still a Leoric kill. It means for now they're 5v4, although they are pretty low. Anduin can't go too far forwards, and nor can the Hacker. They're going to sit back safely for now, and use the space of their top camp, I suspect, to put pressure here onto this shrine. Anduin needs to heal up, and then they can go in. Careful, and careful Reyna as well, because that Diablo is looking for the walls.
Starting to ramp up pretty disgustingly into the late game, as well as the hippity hoppity is starting to meet stoppity of their enemies. By the way,
Entomb up in 4 seconds. That's the threat right now for Dahaka. Anduin ult is not up for another 25, so there's no protection for anyone who gets entombed here. But the hammer's starting to clear the shrine a little bit. Leoric falls very low with the silence, but in comes the Diablo onto Anduin, charges him back into the hammer range. Lunara comes in with 2 swipes, but doesn't finish off the Anduin. Drakva's still alive miraculously, and this means 32 to 30 is incredibly close on this shrine. Both teams now starting to panic on the shrine. 37. The protection's there. 38. Diablo doesn't have an interrupt. 38. And it goes over to the red team.
I am getting confirmation that the drag interaction does not work like I wanted to, so that's very unfortunate. What's not unfortunate for the red side is that they are able to pick up that free fort with a Punisher and are gonna move for the keep wall.
They are indeed, and this is going to be a serious problem here. Hammer's trying to clear this Punisher. She's the best clear they've got, but falling pretty low. Oh, the tongue onto Diablo. Might this be turned into something? No, because the pre-tap value. Look at that Devil's Due getting so much value. The Apocalypse is huge. It's absolutely savage. Onto 4 members. Drakva's already been melted. Reyna's going to be next to go. The Tranquility, but they can't keep Diablo alive though. So Leoric will secure the kill on Reyna.
Cost as Reyna is dead as well, and now they're stuck in a 3v4 without a healer. That's gonna be disgusting.
Don't forget, Diablo's come back to life, and he's starting to chase. There's the BFG onto that. The hacker burrowed out. The hacker got away with that burrow. Credit to the One Knight for taking out that.
That's my favorite use of the globals, just to get away from the fight. Usually we see those with false stats, although we have seen some ETCs use pretty clutch stage dives to get away from the enemies engage. I think it's actually the first time I've seen the hacker burrow out of the fight, because he's so used to burrowing in.
That's true. I have seen it before a couple of times though, but it was a great performance there by the One Knight, because that was borderline he was going to die. So they haven't secured the keep on 500 MS, and that means that actually technically they don't really have any solid advantage except their 2 forts. Now the fort in the bot lane is important, because if the next objective is secured by Moustaches, that's where it's going to go, onto that fort. And so in a sense they have an advantage in terms of that bot lane for the next Punisher, but they are at a disadvantage in terms of XP, and that all comes down to the soaking that Lunara's been doing, of all people. Yes, Leoric has soaked 11k as well, in fact he's slightly ahead, but don't forget Lunara's typically been in the fort, and you'd expect Leoric to be high on the soak, as is the hacker, by the way. It's the hacker highest on soak in the game. But the fact that Lunara's doing such a big soak as well, and Sergeant Hammer, so great performance there from all the team.
Get cleared out, but the amount of grenades that Cloud can put out with his level 16 shotgun grenade launcher talent, which is probably not called that, but it sounds pretty on flavor, so let's go with that translation.
Yes, I don't know what it's actually called, to be honest. Spread volley.
I think that was an interesting interaction. I think that Draco was actually silenced for a moment there, but he still ended up outside of the infill.
Yes, I've seen that a couple of times, yeah, and just slipping out as the walls come up, because the silence is applied slightly differently from the walls. Now
that was a very lucky save from the support of the red team, as Buried Alive had already come out for the Leoric. Now what we see here is a death bush. I'm not sure that anyone will actually go in that direction, but considering the fact that they have an objective spawning right near them, let's see if they are able to get someone.
This is risky because the entomb's up in 3 seconds and they're all clumped. If Leoric finds this entomb...
And is here to scout it out, but the drag hits the Leoric and the kill will be there. No entomb is gonna happen this fight unless the fight is too long and he gets to kill himself back to life.
Oh, I love that from Anduin, pulling the hacker out of the Apocalypse combo. and keeping him safely alive. And that means this objective should be secured pretty comfortably here by 500 ms. It looks like the blue team want to contest this. That's slightly
The
risky.
Dragon Lunara is gonna be huge as the Lunara falls down, and the Malfurion is feeling a bit caught out, following in that death as well. 500 multiple sclerosis, able to get back to the fight and forget about all of the problems they had in the early game.
Yeah, this is... I mean, I think they're thinking about just ending. The risk they might have is that Lyrics up in 6, if he can find an amazing Entomb... By the way, I don't entirely know why Lyrics not scouting the enemy for this.
They're going for the core.
Yes, this has to be Entomb. It's all on this Entomb. Can he make it happen? If he finds 3 members, it might be GG.
And the drag from the one knight is stopping that opportunity, but the red team is making a call to retreat. The Entomb is here, but unfortunately everyone is able to go out of it because the positioning was not the best.
Yeah,
drag
but...
on Diablo is here. Let's see if the demon devil, I don't know that hierarchy, but the blessed shield mind combo will clear out hammer.
Yeah, and the fact that they already got the Rainer kill might give them a little bit of space for this, but this Punisher, 75% HP and marching on the core, there's no more keeps for it to attack, so it's going on heroes instead, starts causing some serious problems for the blue heroes. Lyric just trying to create space. He's got Entomb in 10 seconds though. Lovely Diablo combo, no, denied by the Junkrat mines. Now the
Punisher finally connects with the core, and the amount of damage that the one knight is able to provide in addition to that said Punisher will finish out the game. The Entomb comes out on the literally last second of it.
And 1-1. So, yeah, 1-1. And you know what? That's phenomenal performance there from 500 ms. I really like their playstyle here. Really energetic, really not letting Hammer get set up and wait, you know, not allowing any Lyric engages and stuff like that. Really saying, Lyric, we're gonna find you before you find us, and we're the real jailers here. Great play from 500 ms.
I mean, that was pretty interesting from both teams. I think I am not exactly the best acknowledger of support's place, so I think the MVP for me is gonna be that Dehaka with a bunch of really clutch pulls starting from that Lunara in the earliest of games.
Yeah, I think absolutely the tongue was perfect every time from Dehaka, but I will say that Drakfur's Anduin was really interesting for me to watch because the aggression, just like the really an energetic playstyle, like I was saying, from that Anduin, being quite close to the enemy Diablo and Lyric. And you know, you often think, well, if you're an Anduin against the Diablo, against the Lyric, you've got to be really cautious. He wasn't cautious. He was saying, let's take the fight. Let's force them to use resources on me, Anduin, and that will allow Rainer to play uncontested. It will allow Dehaka to play uncontested.
So here's a fun fact about this series. The team that had first picked has won all of the games so far, which is not gonna get unnoticed by Moustaches as they take first pick for map number 3. What are the options that 500 ms can bring up to the table?
I mean, I don't know really what they should do for maps. As you say, as you point out, when they chose the map, it didn't actually work out for them in game number 1. So, but I think that was more to do with the way they drafted it, not really the fact that they gave up first pick. Now, I wonder if so Dragonshire has been banned. So it maybe isn't, you know, so it's tough to get. Oh, they're going to Sky Temple
is gonna get picked, and that's gonna be interesting. Remember how we talked about big maps? Sky Temple is huge.
You're absolutely right. Sky Temple for game number 3.
I'm gonna take a small second of preparation, if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'll talk about the Sky Temple for a second, because it is an entirely macro-focused map here. Let's take a look at the map bans and map picks and how we came here to game number 3. You can see that Towers of Doom and Dragonshire, which are quite large maps themselves, were banned by 500ms, and they are now taking us to Sky Temple, having previously taken us to Battlefield of Eternity, where they lost. By contrast, Moustaches banned Volskaya and Tomb, which are very small maps, suggesting they want to play a bit more macro. And yet, here, the Sky Temple has been picked up by, of course, 500ms. So a crucial deciding game number 3 here on Heroes Lounge Mega Monday matchup. I'm Karis, and Yosh is joining me today, as Samu has just pointed out, with the Caster's Command. By the way, although this is the amateur series, on this weekend, starting this Saturday at 1300 CET, we have the Division S playoff weekend kicking off with I don't remember which team exactly. I think it might be the Vikings versus Pepe Milady, and you can see the bracket for that on heroeslounge.gg. Look at Division S in the menu for more info. But yeah, that'll be cast by a whole suite of the usual Division S casters, Kaldor, Malganir, and so on. So definitely check out the Division S Season 2 playoffs coming this weekend, both for Europe and for North America. So, with that in mind, we are almost ready for game number 3. No, we're still waiting on some stuff, some of the Avengers to assemble. And like I say, check out Division S this weekend. The draw show, by the way, for anyone who missed it, which decided how these teams ended up in Group D of the Epic Cup and how any teams ended up in any group of any cup, you can find that on YouTube, on the Heroes Lounge YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search for Heroes Lounge Draw Show, I'm sure you'll find it there. It's probably still available on the VODs here for now as well, but in case you're watching this in the future, it might not be, but it will be on YouTube. So go check out the YouTube channel with analysis from the guests who were live at the time.
You know, I think I have taken a second look and I have identified the main reason why we are able to get to map number 3. Neither team has a portrait synergy.
No portrait synergy. That means that both teams are likely to lose.
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing in those first 2 maps. So let's see who will be the real winner for this map.
Yeah, so far there's actually been a loser every single game of this series. So, you know, is that a coincidence? I think not. As we are actually, I believe,
we are
ready to go into game number 3. Or no, into the draft of game number 3 in this best of 3. The decider in this Epic Cup Group D match. Moustaches and 500 MS.
I mean, Karis, I'll be frank with you. I think that 500 medium shallots are also wanting to think that it is their cup, considering the fact that they have won one last season. But unfortunately, they got promoted, and that's where they are in map number 3 on Sky Temple, eagerly awaiting the ban of opponents.
They are indeed. Now, what the question is, I mean, there's the Blaze ban again. You really don't want to play against that Blaze on the side of Moustaches. But they've got to start thinking about macro here. Sky Temple, macro is king. It's all about structural advantages, everything on this map. If you have a 2-fort lead, you're massively in the lead. And because you can then trade temples, or temples get you more value, let's say. More bang for your Temply buck. as Malthael gets banned. So not really focusing that macro yet from either team. I'd love to see an Abathur ban. Instead, there's an Anduin ban. I would have loved to see a Dahaka ban, an Abathur ban, maybe something a
Not
bit more
focusing
exotic.
on the macro, but rather focusing on the offlane with both Blaze and Malthael out. Let's note that it's a huge map, so offlane is actually closer to being a solo lane as than it is on other maps where ganks can be rampant. Lunara is gonna see the ban as Hippity Hoppity finally gets to fully stop it.
Yep, Lunara denied by 500 MS. But for me, it's slightly strange that we haven't seen any macro focus bans. And of course, by the way, all the usual suspects of Anna, Anna, Joanna, those are left in the pool. You can get the Joanna now on the side of 500 MS, and maybe anything else that they want as a comfort pick.
I think not banning Zana and instead deciding to ban Lunar was a bit of a mistake, but let's not forget that Sky Temple is a bigger map, so in my opinion, bigger maps do tend to get longer games, and so on Sky Temple you're more likely to hit levels of 16 and 20 where Lunar gets her two big power spikes. Now ETC and Li Ming are gonna be chosen by the side of 500 Mom's Spaghetti, as we have already discussed. Ernie is a bit of a Ming one-trick pony, which was funny considering that no one did ban it when we were playing in the Rare Cup.
Yeah, so we'll see how these teams function with that. So, let's have a look. Maybe we can have a look at the. Oh! No, are they going to ban? No, they're not. So yeah, they've gone for the Jaina ban. Sorry, I thought they were going to ban Abathur there, but they chose not to. So they've got the Joanna ban. So the Joanna pick and the Leoric pick. Joanna pick absolutely makes sense. Leoric, not a bad pick by any stretch, and Maki was so important in the last game. But having said that, I do think that there were other options like the Dahaka, maybe more macro focused, because now this is inviting a Dahaka pickup from the One Knight, and we know how impactful that was in the last game.
You know what other global goes into the solo lane? Deathwing.
Oh, now that could be spice.
And I think that's what the Leoric pick was looking at, as Mako has been on the Leoric duty in all 3 games.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, I think let's have a look at the situation here. But yeah, the Junkrat picked up, and that does leave the Dahaka open for themselves. But I think they're going to flex that last pick. It could be Deathwing. I think they maybe don't want to show it yet. But yeah, I mean, on the other hand, they need to pick it sooner rather than later, I suppose. But I guess not in their perspective. Track for going for the Lucio. Now that's a bit interesting, but it does allow very fast rotations. And there's the Kael'thas to round off the blue comp.
I mean, you definitely don't want to pick Deathwing on not the last pick, because then you get immediately hit with a Greymane or something. Playing against those is pretty sad. That's a 4-man throw, by the way. Or a second offlane, as teams like to do on big maps, send 1 people top, 1 people bot, and 3 men in the mid lane.
There's the Dahaka. I think we knew it was coming. And I'm surprised it was allowed. But they've gone for it. And what do you make of the Thrall pickup from Pogo Okapi?
I mean, as I've said, it's either a 4-man or a second offlane, so that's gonna be interesting to look at. I don't know, the Earthquake value can be pretty important in denying those Dahaka engages. The stun can be pretty solid in stopping the preparation for a Ming blow up or a ETC jump in. I don't know. The Thrall will be interesting, but I think it could have gone with a slightly better option.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I sort of think you had the option to be a bit more macro focused. However, they've got a very good brawly comp, and I think if there's fights, my gut feeling is the favor is Moustaches there. So
That's actually a good point. A Brawly comp versus 500 mild salsas that are known for making fights a bit too messy. Have you seen all of those in the previous two games?
well, let's see what happens as we go into this game number 3, the decider, with Blaumik on Joanna, with Maku on Lyric, with Pogo Karbi on Thrall, with Faldas on Anna, and with Surge on Kael'thas. In blue, it is of course Moustaches.
On the other side, we see 500 minions smashed by the One Knight on the Haka, Cloud on Junkrat, Dracva on Lucio, Snazy Penguin on ETC, and Ernemist playing that Li Ming. Now, as we can see, Li Mings can be absolutely explosive, and the one application for Thrall versus a Li Ming that I haven't thought about earlier is just stunning her, just rooting her with a W. Now that is a pretty aggressive cheese in the bot lane by the side of Moustaches, which is going to be quickly stopped. I'm not sure that using the global of the hacker here was correct, but the drag on Thrall comes out as the One Knight is at it again. Blauemilk gets mined into the backline, and no one will actually die yet.
Surely Blaumik's dead here. Yeah, does eventually go down. I'm not sure that's worth it. They gave up 2 waves of soak there that Maku was just able to get for free. And a hero kill is not worth that much soak. So maybe a bit of an overcommitment using the hacker rotation now.
That's actually a good point that Mako's proving here. Leoric usually can double soak. The problem with Sky Templeness is that the lanes are a bit too far away from each other to comfortably do that. But Blaueming is here to stay and collect the experience, which is important. Now, funny you say that they have missed 2 waves, because despite missing all of those, the red team is still ahead in experience.
By the way, we just saw a stat on screen there about the Anna pickup. Anna with a really high pick and ban rate in Heroes Lounge Season 11 and a 56% win rate, so looking like a very strong hero throughout the tournament so far.
I mean, we have seen how disgusting it can be in map number 1, for example.
Oh, tongue on to Lyric there from the One Knight. Doesn't have the kill pressure really on his own. Level 4 talents are in for both teams, and it is triumvirate for Li Ming.
I mean, it's surely gonna be an orb build, right? Right?
Maybe. You never know. You never know. By the way, one talent shows I didn't talk about level 1, Party Mix from Lucio. Now, the reason for that, if I can guess it, is because of the enemy Kael'thas. And when the enemy has a Kael'thas, you don't want to be clumping up tight. And Lucio's normal healing radius is pretty tight, so it invites your team to clump up and then get living bombs on you. That's why he's going for Party Mix. It allows his team to spread out a little bit more and still get healed. The Snazzy Penguin slides to safety.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, the one thing that I don't understand in that case is the fact that Dracula is aggressively rotating on his own and generally not staying with his team, which does mean that his quest will be available a bit later than usual, which could be detrimental to his team. The temples will activate, and that's where the teams usually do get the plant up, which
Yeah.
invites a lot of fighting.
ETC thinking about being careful here. Oh, Lucio, you also got to be careful not to spread that living bomb, because of course the party mix is not completed yet. And if anything, he needs to clump more while he's stacking that party mix to get it up and running, to get those stacks rolling. Dracva falling a little bit low. Sensibly boops the Thrall towards Junkrat, gets a bit of pressure onto Pogar Karpi, but now Thrall of course can just turn the tables and chunk down the Junkrat. Turn him into the Junkrat as ETC, putting pressure onto Blauemink. but can't slide in because of the danger that awaits for him with Anna and Kael'thas.
That is a messy fight, and right now it has just become a 5v4 as Leoric rightfully agrees with the fact that Dihaka should control the top lane, because Dihaka is the best hero in that off lane in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the channel is stopped as the last shot is about to hit, and
yeah, this fights over these last 5 shots is going to be pretty big. Nice slide onto, nice slide onto Thrall. A lovely follow up from the Li Ming as well, from early mist.
5, unfortunately, just 5 without any 100 miniature shots will hit that power in the mid lane, killing it.
5.00 miniature shots.
Oh, that's a good one.
As they go on to that. So structurally, right now, the lead is in favour of 500 MS, and we know structure is everything on this map. The hacker burrows to dodge the Leoric suck and keeps the pressure on. Just
That's
keep
actually an interesting point. The team that has been more assertive and more aggressive and generally got a lot more out of the first round of temples is slightly behind in experience, which is kind of indicative of the fact that maybe they have botched up their lane assessment.
Yeah, but I think it's actually. But don't forget, they have got the structural lead. And I think they're going to be pretty happy with the structural situation so far. Yes, they did not get that top 4, but if they now go for their bruiser camp in a timely manner, bearing in mind the next temple is at 6:41, which is in 51 seconds from now, they will be able to secure that top fort or secure the bottom temple by drawing their enemy into, that dilemma.
And the fact that they have a Dehaka who is, I remind you, a global, they are able to defend against an identical play of their opponents, which is gonna be really nice.
So, speaking of globals, here's a question for you. Are we going to see
Yes?
stage dive coming from Snazzy Penguin?
Oh, I mean, stage dive is always an option on the table, but I don't think they really want to go for it. Now, the problem with going not stage dive is that you have to pick Mosh Pit, and picking Mosh Pit into Kael'thas, Ana, Blast Shield, and some other disgusting stuff
Condemn.
is pretty sad, because we have seen how good Xayana was on the sleeps in game number 1. Speaking of the global plays, here we see the global play of the blue team. A global might be nice, but 4 people in the top lane do the job a bit better.
I don't like the fact that 500 MS are not pushing this forward now. What they should not be doing when they see that many top is they should not be just panic hearthing, because they're going to be too late to defend that fort. I think they could have just taken the bottom fort for free and then got the temple to get some value on mid.
They aren't actually that late. The Wolf has just
The stage dive!
There is a stage dive!
Beautiful, but Lucio is not with the team, of course, on account of having stayed to finish the temple. Lucio can start rotating. Instead, he's not, though. He's staying to soak. So they don't have a healer in the top lane.
And here we see the 500 macro superstars being able to turn this trade for good.
Yeah, they are 500 macro superstars indeed, and that they're getting that global value. But Li Ming's overcommitted here. The slide's too little, too late. You can't save Li Ming in that position. The nano boost comes out for Kael'thas, but it's not necessary in this case.
Well, such is life. Now, the one problem with Lucio staying in the bottom lane and soaking up all of that experience is the fact that he's definitely not getting any party mix stacks, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, it's starting to look quite late to be stacking your party mix when it's an 8-minute quest and it's more than 8 minutes into the game. And by the way, you get more the more heroes you're near, which means he's getting less than 1 minute per minute when the thing can give you theoretically up to 4 minutes per minute. So it's not great stacking time for that party mix. Oh,
Snazy Penguin mentioned to stay out of the entomb while Dracula is forced to feel the full wrath of the Phoenix.
Yeah, a nice retreat there. Although the Lucio did use his ult,
once
so
again running further from his team to actively prevent himself from getting any party mix stack. At this point, it just feels that way. He's going for the latest completion of the quest, which is probably not a record recorded by launch staff, but after this game I think it should be.
Well, we may investigate the statistics on that at a later date. As Junkrat goes in and tries to put a bit of pressure, tries to find some displacement. It's level 13s for both teams, but there's no Lucio ult. The party mix is nearly stacked. The Riptire comes in, no, denied by the Condemn. So Riptire full cooldown. Earthquake a little bit. Oh, but there's the blessed shield onto ETC, and the lockdown, and the grenade, and ETC's immediately dead before Lucio has his ult back up.
The isolation misses as well. Oh, that hurts.
But there's the tongue,
As
the
the
signature
next-
tongue from the one night.
As
But-
the next temple rotation starts hitting, and it starts hitting pretty nicely for Moustaches who have Leoric up there and are not fighting 4v5.
The one
Because
night
they
shouldn't
have
be.
killed an EDC.
The one night's going in prematurely. Oh, it's slightly ambitious. All they had to do was wait 10 seconds and ETC could have stage dived in and made it 5v4. Instead, they went a bit too aggressively there and they've been found out by a very alert Moustaches team. If they just
Well,
waited 10 seconds, they would have got an advantage, but they're still going in. Can they catch this
Ooh.
Ana? Yes, they can. Nice recovery from Snazzy Penguin.
And Draco once again running away from his entire team. Fortunately, he has managed to stack party mix before running away and running back in and dying.
Yeah,
Like-
he stacked the party mix, but that means he's got when he ran away, he was not there to defend Li Ming. Tahaka burrows in, has the ability to try and catch this Joanna with a tongue, dodges the
mean-
gravity lapse nicely.
Let's be honest, he's mostly here to create space for ETC while he gets the temple shots, as the top temple is already gone.
I'm slightly surprised we're not seeing more of a commitment from the blue team onto this. They're going instead for the soak. Yeah, they will get some soak strength, but they're going to fall behind in structures. And I know I keep saying it, but structural advantage is so crucial on Sky Temple.
So yeah. Funny how things keep turning up pretty well for 500 mildly surprised casters, but yeah, it's just how it's gonna go.
There's a threat in the Twitch chat. If Moustaches lose, there'll be a riot. So,
Well, let's hope there won't be a blizzard.
oh, the hacker slightly out of position. This is a slight misplay there from the one night, and well punished by Moustaches. I think the play to do now for the red team is just go and soak 16. There's no need for them to contest this boss. It's only going on a fort. It doesn't mean anything. They can just give it up.
Ooh, Draco gets cut out by Zintoom.
Yeah, and that's nasty.
Actually,
Has his ult
he's
though.
able to stay alive because no one is trying to focus the Lucio. Everyone has other targets in sight, such as that ETC. That Wolf will miss the target, and Snazzy Penguin actually is able to global out. Speaking of out of Zen
Did he global out or did he global in? That's a question.
global. Oh, that's a good question.
I think he might pay for it with his life. Not quite. Gets a nice tap, save himself for now. And you know what? The distraction play worked. They didn't allow the enemy team to take the boss, but they're going there now. Li Ming, I think, has clued up this is what's going on, and you can see the entire red
But
team
now
converging.
we have the Haka who is alive and back, which they haven't the first time around. Blaueming is gonna get tanked, but not for long. Oh, that's a fully Ming procast on top of the Ana, and the support will get dead rather quickly. The Leoric or the Johanna will be the next target of 500 MS, but they cancel this engage and try to rotate around to catch Maku from flanking. The Nazarek comes out, and the Leoric is down 500 micro superstars this time as they win this fight.
And they go immediately onto that boss. Brilliant play from 500 MS. I was dubious about them contesting that boss in the first place. What they did is they stretched out the time. They got the time for Dahaka to respawn, came back in, created space, killed the Ana, bang! Now they've got themselves a boss. And this one, by the way, is going on keep because they got that structural advantage earlier on. And structural advantage on Sky Temple is everything. Great play from
And
500
once
MS.
they are done with this push, they can just move back a bit, or just send the Haka back to take this temple and start shooting even more shots into that bottom keep, as if it had...
That was nearly a boop into boss stun from Dragfa, who's playing incredibly aggressively on this Lucio, and I love to see it. I love to see this aggressive style of Lucio maximizing the value of that mobile hero.
I mean, let's be honest. You take Lucio in the damage slot, and then you take ETC as a heal with the Prog Rock, who I imagine is already stacked.
I mean, you joke, but my old team, Heroes of Inclement Weather, years ago, we used to literally just take DPS Lucio. Lovely slide in onto the Thrall, trying to control him, finish off the Joanna. Snazzy Penguin, can he sneeze that out? No, denied by the Gravity Lapse. Lovely call from Kael'thas there to block that. Now Lucio's got to get his teammates out there, needs the speed. But that's not the speed, that's the heal. And instead they're playing a bit more aggressively, still trying to threaten. And so the back off is called from both teams.
So they have gotten the keep, they have gotten a bunch of damage on top of the mid wall, and yeah, I think they'll take it. Even though the boss did not do any damage to the core, it just kinda scared the shield a lot.
Yeah, it's the boss was never really going to threaten the core, but what it did do is help take that keep, help the temple secure the keep, and of course create space to get the whole temple.
As such, the macro nature of Sky Temple continues to show up as we see that the red team is just able to elicit more and more pressure on their opponents with each passing temple.
Yeah, 500 Masters of Sky showing themselves, the Sky Temple Masters here. And the Lucio really stepping up. Now, I think they should just wait and play the macro game here. They don't need to fight. ETC has the stage dive though, and Lyric doesn't. That's why they're thinking about taking this fight, but Lyric knows what's coming, and he's already on his way up top. Is he though? No, he's actually soaking. So there's a chance
ETC is
here.
not moving up, but ETC has a global, so he can just stay and soak.
Yeah, that's why I thought. Oh,
Ooh,
the tongue! Now,
throw,
surely this is going to be followed up with a stage dive. It is, but it's so far back, it's not going to be able to help. And the slide was already used to clear a wave, so Snazzy Penguin doesn't have it for a second. Now slides in, but it's too late. The silence from the hacker was absolutely huge, though.
The replay is used to save Dracula from the follow-up on the damage, as you know, the drag was pretty nice. The follow-up was pretty nice as well, but the thing is, the follow-up from the drag has set up the red team perfectly to get hit by Kael'thas. The flame strikes are relentless.
It's slightly unfortunate for Lucio that he pressed sound barrier before he took that level 20 talent, because of course the cooldown reduction at 20 would have made it only a 30-second cooldown. It would have been back up by now, in fact. So instead they are going to have to back off, having used their... Oh! Maybe they can catch Lyric. No, he's going to be fine.
ETC, that was not just a power slide, right? Because Leoric lost what feels like a third of his HP, and
no, I think a Leeming Orb hit as well, right?
Okay.
Snazzy Penguin though, got to be careful. Isolation is back up. The Storm Shield comes out from ETC, trying to keep himself alive. Can't though because the Ana Grenade is so impactful, but 3 are silenced by the hacker. The Wave of Force though, not quite the synergy they wanted. And Leeming's got to be careful, not running too close to that Junkrat. The Living Bomb has been spread onto Lucio. He's too close. Did I spread onto Leeming? It has. The Sound Barrier comes out to save.
Storm Shield comes out to save.
Is the tongue available from the One Knight? It is. This time it connects again on Thrall. Can they follow up? No, the Leeming Orb goes into someone else.
Doing damage to the core. Well, not yet to the core in itself, but they are doing damage to the shielding. Okay, not anymore.
Lyric has
Stop
half.
the alarm.
But that means it's 4v4.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually good.
Lucio ult up in 3 seconds. Will he be in time? No, because the lockdown is just too little, too late, and Junkrat's going to die as well. It's 2 on the deck, 3 if you count ETC, who's back up in 15 seconds. They need to just go for temples. They should have played the safer option, going for the trade temples. That's why they've worked so hard for that structural advantage. They maybe could be throwing it away now if they keep forcing fights, instead of playing the advantage that they've worked so hard for.
And as the fans of the red team are typing 500 1KS in the chat, Moustaches are turning it around and are taking an advantage on the macro side of
Leeming
things,
trying to find Joanna, 270 HP, the hacker's there, there's the indestructible, Thrall's coming in to try and escort Blauwmink out there, dedication from Pogo Carpe, onto Leeming, the hacker's trying to find 2000 shield left, 18 HP, no, Blauwmink gets away!
And they are able to take the boss as well, that's actually pretty savage.
They are indeed taking that boss, and that's going to go onto the keep. Now, that is absolutely defensible. I don't know why they're going for this mid-temple. It's already down. Lovely roots from Thrall, though. Stops any slide ideas. Slides on cooldown.
Let's see how that defense will go for the right side, as the blue team is not that willing to go for it.
I think they will come eventually, but they wanted to heal up first because bear in mind they were a bit weak. But here's the thing: they didn't take that boss to get the keep with it. They took the boss to deny it from the enemy team because it was a win condition for the red team. Every second that boss was up was a second that the blue team had to watch that boss pit. Now it's down. They can be a bit more calm. They can play the map, and they can go for that mid keep.
Take the mid keep.
The tongue! The tongue onto Boko Okapi with the slide to follow. Can they kill him? No, they can't because the earthquake shields are keeping him so alive. Riptide comes out for the second time, hits onto 2 or 3 targets this time.
And that's gonna be a reset on the Riptide, as Cloud has managed to hit 3 or more people with it.
The siege giants, by the way, 4 siege giants will tear through that keep if they let them. That's why the blue team has come here to escort another.
Another Riptide comes out.
Yeah, another tongue as well. The wave of force.
Of
the silencing and tomb. Not too much of an issue on 2TC. But now
it's mostly used as a wall. There's a stage dive, not a good one in my opinion, because they're just engaging on the front line, and as Pogo Copy is quite low, he will manage to heal a lot. The throw will die in the end, but
yeah, and now here comes another Riptire from Junkrat. The Lucio ult is back up, by the way, because it has basically no cooldown. Joanna Ironskin keeps her alive for a second. Does she have the Iron Indestructible? I'm not. I don't know if Flaming does have the Indestructible or not. Yes, she does. That's why she didn't care.
Over-engaged the red team. Cloud is able to get, or not.
They're going for the Kael'thas though. The Wave of Force brings her back into ETC range. Bang.
Yeah, the Kael'thas. And Johanna is able to get the mid keep as a final freak. Yeah. To the red team.
But surely this is GG. Surely they can go all the way here. They have the Lucio ult. They have the 5 members alive versus only 2. Thrall is up in 14 seconds though, and we saw how much sustain he gives himself.
That's a sleep on 2 people and in Tomb, which is unfortunately not that useful because the front line, no follow-up situation is not great.
But it's buying time. The time is what they need. In comes the Thrall Earthquake. Tries to catch on to Lucio. Does it? Does he have his ult? He doesn't for 6 more seconds. Thrall, the hacker's trying to put pressure onto this core. So is Junkrat. The missiles come out from Li Ming. Oh, the hacker's been killed. The hacker's been killed by Leoric.
30.
Down to 20%. ETC dies.
20.
It's 4v3 at this point, effectively. But Li Ming dies. It's all up to Lucio. 6%. Drak 4.
3, 2.
What?
Hello, Rantness. This one's for you. 276 HP is left on the core as 500. I don't know. Let's go for mild spices. Are gonna throw this game out of the window for some reason.
500 mega spice. This was insanely close. I can't believe it. I thought for sure they had it in the bag as soon as I saw 5v2 marching like core. Credit to Leoric and Anna for buying enough time for Thrall to get the kills, to secure the core defense on a sliver of HP. And this is surely going to go the other way. It's going to be the 2-1 in favor of Moustaches. What a phenomenal finish here from the blue team, but what a performance from both of these teams in here Heroes Lounge Mega Monday matchup.
You know what they could have done? They could have just taken both temples and got the win anyway.
Yeah, I think there's in fairness there were still 2 keeps up, so I mean look, when you're 5v2 up, your first instinct absolutely should be to go for that core. They had the Lucio ult available, stuff like that. And it just wasn't enough because of the space and the time that was bought by Leoric and Anna. Phenomenal performance here from Moustaches. I hope we can get an interview with them shortly about this phenomenal series. I mean, 15 kills to 10 in favor of Moustaches, but it really felt like 500 MS were in the driving seat because they had that macro, they had the strategic control of the map, and they had the winning fights. Sometimes, but just when it mattered at the end, they all died. So let's see if we can get into.
Sometimes you lose to that. They 500 musical satanists have actually lost a game like that in the last time they were playing in the group stage of a cup. The teams that they lost against, 21 esports, the same teams that they have later played in the finals of that same Rare Cup. 3% core into 2% core. That's pretty lucky.
Let's see if we can get an interview with Blauermink from Moustaches. I mean, yeah. I mean, what? I mean, credit to 500ms. 500ms. They were playing this so spot on for most of that game, and it looked like the right call. It looked so much like the right call to go for that core at the end, and yet Moustaches were just able to hold them off for 1 second long enough. If it's been, if Lucio lives 2-3 more seconds, he finishes the core and it finishes the game.
Yeah, unfortunately they weren't able to go for core enough. 276 and 76 HP in that. More than 0, that's what I tell you. More than 0.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I've what a finish to an incredibly close series, and yeah, it really puts the Epic in the Epic Cup. You can hear my voice is giving away a little bit from screaming at the end of that. What do you think about that Yosh? I mean, what
do I think about
but
that Yosh?
for the final game,
That Yosh is the best Yosh that we have, and yeah, the final game was solid. I don't know. I still think that was a bit too aggressive from the red team, but such is the way of the red team. They aren't able to be not aggressive.
well, we're gonna have a chat now with Search from Moustaches, so we're gonna head over to interview him. Hello and congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
Your heart must be beating pretty fast at the end of that game.
Yeah, still. Oof.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Well. Wow. What a performance from both teams. How are you feeling after an incredible series?
Of course, we are glad that we managed to win, but I think when I speak for my team, when I say that none of us is 100% confident with the performance today, so I think we need some more training so that the next matches will be more on our side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'd heard that you'd beaten 500 MS before. Was this a tougher match for you than your last match up against them?
Definitely. I think last time we were like 2-0, and this time the matches were so close, and but it was really fun to play against them again and to see like they improved and we kind of did not. It seems so. So yeah, wake up call for the next matches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you even how do you even react to a match like that? If, in terms of analysis for your team, it's going to be a tough set of replays to analyze because it is really close, particularly in game number 3 there.
Yeah, like we will watch some replays and we'll go deeper into our shot calling mechanics. There were some unclear instructions over all the games, and that's something we have to focus on, and I think we will manage that.
Yeah, I mean, I think those things exist with every team. So, although obviously we've been the chat's most excited about game number 3. Obviously, there were 2 other games in this series. Battlefield of Eternity. I think you looked a lot more kind of in control there in that Battlefield game on game number 1. Did you feel kind of satisfied with your performance there in game number 1?
Well, we were better than in game number 2. But I can say that we were 100% yeah, confirmed with our um, yeah, match.
Speaking of that game number 2, the hammer pick really got us by surprise. I'm just interested to hear your side of the story in this one. What happened?
Well,
Was it a prepared pick or maybe some unintended misclick?
no, we tend to play hammer. We played some other matches too, so that's it. No misclick, no surprise tactics. Was just our playstyle.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we were slightly surprised because it seemed like the enemy had some answers to the hammer. You know, with the Joanna blinds and the aggression from Dahaka. It seemed like Dahaka in particular caused problems for your team in both game number 2 and game number 3. Did you feel threatened by the Dahaka player in those games?
Well, I definitely did. I think I got like I catch the tongue like 3 times. I was like, fuck. So I was definitely frightened by that Dehaka.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, credit to the one knight who was playing phenomenally there. But
True.
so, talk us through that final core defense because in game number 3, because obviously that's the moment that everyone will remember from this series. You know, it looked like 5v2 that they had. It looked like they could just end, but it seems like Leoric and Anna bought enough time for you to respawn.
Yeah, I'm glad they did. I just sat here and thought the game was over. I was like, they go core, and I thought it was over, but my teammates got my back.
Well, it's a good lesson in why people should never call GG before the game is over.
Yeah, true. True.
I'm sure in Storm League teams would have given up by then. How what were the comms like in your team at that moment?
It got pretty silent, and everyone was just focusing on protecting the core.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, so it wasn't like sort of super excited about we could do this, we could do this.
Everyone was just like doing their best. You just could hear their switches clicking. Yeah.
And it definitely came through on film. Now, congratulations on that win. That's, I believe, your first match in the group stage.
Yep. Thank you so much.
And many people think that 500. Let me find out. The 500 male snobs are the weakest team in this group, being spot number 9 from Division 5 and getting their place in the cup after one team dropped. Now, your next opponents seem to be stronger than them. Any opinions on the games that you might be having in the future?
Oh, we are just excited, and we hope we can improve until the next game, which will be on Thursday, I think. So not much time.
And how far do you see yourself making it into that cup?
I think we will go to the group stage. That's our first goal, and then we'll see.
That's fair.
Yep, I think that's a good ambition to start with, and of course you can see how things progress. Well, I know that we'll definitely be following your team with some interest because we've seen some really interesting plays from you this today, as well as also from 500 MS. So we will follow Group D with a great deal of interest. I think that's all the questions we've got. Have you got any final thoughts on anything you want to say, or anyone you want to shout out to?
I just want to shout out to my team and also to our opponents because they put on hell of a performance and it was really fun to play against them, and they too deserve the win. So shout out to 500 MS, and hope we will see them in the cup as well.
Absolutely, I'd love to see a rematch of that in the Epic Cup That'll be great stuff. Well, thank you for joining us for the interview, and best of luck with the rest of the tournament.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
So we are. That's all of Heroes Lounge Mega Monday matchup for today. But it was definitely a mega matchup, wasn't it, Yosh?
Yeah, it definitely seemed so. That was a mega scream. No, not really. Not really a scream when there's something on the line, but um, I can't think of a better word starting with S, so I guess we'll go for the 500 mega scream. And it was pretty solid. There were a lot of interesting plays from both teams in the interesting side of way and in the interesting side of way. Uh, there was an absolutely amazing core defense from the Moustaches on map number 3. This series had a lot of what it takes to be a good one. So let's call it a good series that we had.
Yep. 500 Majestic Swans have flown into the Epic Cup in true style. They've got a loss, but they are not out just yet because they still have 2 matches left to play in
They
Group
actually
C.
have only one match remaining.
Oh, I thought it
have
was Moustaches who played.
I have casted their matchups versus XL5 just yesterday, and they have unfortunately lost
Ah,
0-2,
so I did
which
not see that. So,
does spell a lot of doom for them because now they need to win their last game and hope for the tiebreakers that we
yeah,
have.
it's a tough situation. Well, the fact that they won one map today does help them with the tiebreakers, but yeah, it will be a tough situation for sure, especially as they're going up in their final game against Schmerglings. Still, they gotta, they've got if their match is anything like today, I think they can really show some force. And of course, if you want to see where the people from the group stages end up in the final knockout stage, that will be the Epic Cup knockout stages will be played live on this channel and this channel only on the Sunday the 19th of March. So not this Sunday, the Sunday after. I don't know which Sunday that is, but
Just to
so
stop
somebody will tell me.
Harris rambling happily about how this is the only channel that's gonna be getting the playoff transmissions, I believe that some of the playoff matches are casted on the second channel as well over at Heroes underscore Lounge too.
That is technically true, yes. On the other Heroes Land channel, and to be honest, we'll probably have foreign language casters on other channels as well. But the main event will definitely be here. The grand final will be here on Sunday, the 22nd of March in just a couple of weeks. So that is definitely something to get in your calendars, because if the Epic Cup is anything like the standard we've seen today, it's going to be epic indeed. But that's all we've got time for today. Any final thoughts, Yosh, from you?
Uh, I don't know. Like, the chances of getting out of this group for the red team in this matchup for 500 Mad Spartans have decreased significantly, which does mean that I will be really interested to watching their third match versus Schmerglings, which unfortunately have not been scheduled yet, but I will be keeping a close eye out for it because when a team is out, or almost out, it does mean that they have nothing to lose. And when the team has nothing to lose, usually that's when things get really spicy.
Absolutely. And that's when they might pull out everything bar the kitchen sink, or maybe the kitchen sink as well. Yosh, it's been a delight casting with you this evening. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to watch more of your casting?
So yeah, I mean, I'm basically the closest analog that we in EU Heroes Lounge have to Yellow Press. So if you want to hear some of my quantity casting, join me at Twitch channel Yosh One Tails.